Far beneath the sunlit surface of our oceans, beyond the reach of the familiar world, lies a realm of profound mystery and perpetual twilight. This is a place where sunlight fades into obscurity, and the boundaries between day and night blur into a perpetual dusk. Known as the Mesopelagic zone, or more evocatively, the Twilight Zone, this vast intermediate layer stretches from 200 meters down to 1,000 meters beneath the ocean's surface. Here, only a faint trace of sunlight penetrates, insufficient for photosynthesis, but enough to create a world of shifting shadows and subtle gradients of blue. The environment is otherworldly, an alien landscape shaped by immense pressure, frigid temperatures, and the near absence of light. The water is cold, typically ranging from 4 to 8 degrees Celsius, and the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere every 10 meters, reaching up to 100 times the pressure at sea level. The Twilight Zone comprises a staggering 20% of the global ocean's volume, making it one of the largest habitats on Earth. Despite its size, it remains one of the least explored and least understood regions of our planet, a true frontier of marine science. Within this shadowy expanse, life has evolved in remarkable and unexpected ways. The creatures here are adapted to survive in near-total darkness, relying on senses and strategies that are almost unimaginable to surface dwellers. Many species possess large, sensitive eyes to capture the faintest glimmers of light, while others are nearly blind, navigating by touch or detecting vibrations in the water. As we descend through the water column, the vibrant blues of the upper ocean gradually give way to a deep, inky indigo. The transition is marked by a dramatic drop in light intensity, with less than 1% of surface sunlight reaching the upper boundary of the Twilight Zone and virtually none penetrating to its lower depths. The silence here is profound, broken only by the subtle movements of its inhabitants. Sound travels differently in this dense cold water, and many animals have developed acute hearing or the ability to produce and detect low-frequency sounds to communicate or locate prey. Life in the Twilight Zone is defined by adaptation. Organisms must withstand crushing pressures that would destroy unprotected surface life, and many have evolved flexible bodies, specialized proteins, and unique cellular structures to survive these extremes. The scarcity of light has driven the evolution of extraordinary abilities. Bioluminescence is widespread, with countless species producing their own light through chemical reactions. This living light is used for communication, camouflage, attracting prey, and confusing predators. Exploring the Twilight Zone requires advanced technology. Submersibles and remotely operated vehicles equipped with powerful lights and sensitive cameras allow us to observe this hidden world without disturbing its delicate balance. For centuries, the depths of the ocean were shrouded in myth and legend. Ancient maps depicted monstrous creatures lurking in the abyss, and the true nature of the Twilight Zone remained a mystery. Tales of krakens and leviathans rising from the deep were inspired by fleeting glimpses of real but rarely seen inhabitants of this zone: giant squids, enormous jellyfish, and other enigmatic forms. Only in recent decades, with the development of sophisticated submersibles and remote sensing equipment, have we begun to systematically explore and document the Twilight Zone's biodiversity and ecological importance. What we are discovering is more wondrous than any myth. The Twilight Zone is home to a dazzling array of life forms, many of which remain undescribed by science. Some species are so new to us that they have yet to be formally named. Contrary to earlier assumptions, this zone is not a barren wasteland. It is a dynamic ecosystem teeming with life, supporting an immense biomass that may exceed that of all the fish in the upper ocean combined. Many of these animals undertake daily vertical migrations, rising toward the surface at night to feed and descending again by day to avoid predators. This essay is a journey into that world, a voyage into the heart of the ocean's twilight, where every meter reveals new marvels and challenges our understanding of life's resilience. We will examine the physical challenges of life in the deep, from the relentless pressure that can crush unprotected structures to the near-freezing temperatures that slow metabolic processes and demand unique physiological adaptations. We will marvel at the phenomenon of bioluminescence, a biological light show that illuminates the darkness with flashes, glows, and pulses, serving as both a lure and a shield in the eternal night. We will follow the largest migration on Earth, a daily, synchronized movement of billions of animals that plays a crucial role in the ocean's carbon cycle, helping to regulate the planet's climate. We will encounter the bizarre and beautiful denizens of the Twilight Zone, from colossal squid with eyes the size of dinner plates to fish with transparent heads and bodies, each equipped with remarkable adaptations for hunting, hiding, and surviving in this perpetual dusk. Entering the Twilight Zone is to cross a threshold into a realm where sunlight is all but extinguished. Here, the ocean becomes a vast, shadowy expanse, its boundaries defined not by land, but by the relentless absence of light. At a depth of 200 meters, the sun's rays are reduced to a mere whisper. Just 1% of their original intensity manages to filter through the dense water above. The remaining light is scattered and absorbed, leaving only a dim blue-green glow. This spectral illumination is so weak that it cannot sustain photosynthesis, the process that supports nearly all life in shallower waters. As we descend further, the light diminishes exponentially. By the time we reach 1,000 meters, we are enveloped in a world of perpetual midnight, where the darkness is so complete that it is almost tangible. In this zone, the concept of day and night vanishes entirely. The environment is locked in an unending twilight, a monotony broken only by the occasional flicker of bioluminescence. The absence of sunlight is the defining feature of the Mesopelagic. Here, life has evolved extraordinary adaptations. Some creatures generate their own light through bioluminescence, using it to lure prey, communicate, or camouflage themselves in the darkness. Alongside the vanishing light, the temperature drops precipitously. The ocean's thermal structure is layered, with the uppermost waters warmed by the sun, but this warmth quickly dissipates with depth. At the surface, especially in tropical regions, water temperatures can exceed 20 degrees Celsius, creating a vibrant, sunlit habitat teeming with life. But as we descend, we encounter the thermocline, a sharp boundary where temperatures plummet rapidly, sometimes by more than 10 degrees within a few dozen meters. Below the thermocline, the water becomes uniformly cold, dropping to just 4 degrees Celsius near the lower boundary of the Twilight Zone. This frigid environment is unyielding, with little seasonal or daily variation. The cold seeps into every living thing, slowing metabolic rates to a crawl. Many deep-sea animals move with deliberate slowness, conserving precious energy in a world where food is scarce and the cost of movement is high. For these creatures, warmth is a distant memory. Their bodies are adapted to function at near-freezing temperatures with specialized enzymes and cellular structures that remain flexible and efficient in the cold. Yet the cold and darkness are only part of the challenge. The deeper we go, the greater the pressure becomes, exerting a relentless force on everything that descends. Every 10 meters of descent adds another atmosphere of pressure, compressing the water and anything within it. At 1,000 meters, the pressure exceeds 100 atmospheres. This is the equivalent of stacking the weight of a large truck on every square inch of surface area. Only the most robustly adapted organisms can survive such crushing force. The pressure is so intense that any gas-filled spaces, such as lungs or swim bladders, would collapse instantly without specialized adaptations. Objects not designed for these depths are quickly crushed, as demonstrated by the implosion of metal containers and other materials in deep-sea experiments. Deep-sea life is often gelatinous or water-filled, lacking rigid structures that would be vulnerable to collapse. Their bodies are composed of tissues that match the density of seawater, allowing them to withstand the immense pressure. In addition to darkness, cold, and pressure, Some regions of the Twilight Zone are plagued by low oxygen levels. These oxygen minimum zones can stretch for hundreds of kilometers, creating vast stretches where only the most resilient life can persist. Between 500 and 1,000 meters, oxygen concentrations can drop to their lowest levels in the entire ocean, challenging even the hardiest of deep-sea inhabitants. Yet life finds a way. The vampire squid, for example, is uniquely adapted to these conditions, thriving where others would perish, with highly efficient gills and blood capable of extracting oxygen from even the most depleted waters, and a metabolism so slow it can survive on minimal food. The vampire squid is a master of survival in the deep. The Twilight Zone's darkness and cold have not created a barren wasteland, but a crucible of evolution, forging some of the most specialized, resilient, and extraordinary life forms on Earth, each uniquely equipped to endure the crushing, frigid, and lightless world of the deep ocean. In the profound and perpetual darkness of the Twilight Zone, where sunlight cannot penetrate beyond a few hundred meters, an astonishing evolutionary solution has emerged. Life itself has learned to create light. This adaptation is not merely a curiosity, but a fundamental aspect of survival in the deep ocean. This phenomenon, known as bioluminescence, is the dominant language of the deep. Here it is not a rare trait, but a widespread adaptation, with an estimated 90% of mesopelagic organisms capable of producing their own light. The diversity of bioluminescent life is staggering. From tiny plankton to large predatory fish, countless species have evolved specialized organs and chemical pathways to emit light, each with unique patterns, colors, and intensities. Unlike the hot, energy-wasting light of a flame or a light bulb, bioluminescence is a cold, highly efficient chemical light. This allows deep-sea creatures to produce illumination without raising their body temperature, a crucial advantage in the frigid waters of the abyss. The light is generated through a precise chemical reaction involving a substrate called luciferin and an enzyme known as luciferase. When these molecules interact in the presence of oxygen, they produce photons, packets of light energy, without generating heat. The result is a sudden, controlled burst of light, often lasting only fractions of a second, but sometimes sustained for minutes, depending on the species and the purpose of the display. The uses of this living light are as varied and ingenious as the creatures that wield it. Some species have evolved photophores, specialized light-producing organs, arranged in intricate patterns along their bodies, while others harbor symbiotic bacteria that generate light for them. For many, bioluminescence is a sophisticated tool for communication. In the vast, featureless dark, light signals can attract mates, establish territory, or warn rivals, with each species developing its own unique code of flashes and glows. Some fish display species-specific flash patterns, acting as a kind of visual fingerprint. These patterns help individuals recognize each other, reducing the risk of interspecies conflict or mistaken identity during mating. In certain species, synchronized light displays allow groups to coordinate movement, confuse predators, or even herd prey. These collective behaviors are a testament to the complexity of deep-sea social interactions. Most bioluminescent light in the ocean is blue or green, as these wavelengths travel farthest through seawater. This maximizes the range and effectiveness of visual signals, allowing communication across surprisingly long distances in the deep. The result is a silent, visual language spoken in flashes and glows, transforming the darkness into a living tapestry of twinkling signals, each with its own meaning and intent. Bioluminescence is also a crucial weapon in the ongoing arms race between predator and prey. Both hunters and the hunted have evolved to exploit light for their own survival. Many predators use bioluminescent lures to attract unsuspecting prey. These lures can mimic the appearance or movement of smaller animals, drawing victims close enough to be captured. The deep-sea anglerfish is perhaps the most iconic example, wielding a glowing esker, a fleshy, bacteria-filled appendage, like a fishing rod, enticing curious creatures toward its cavernous jaws. Other predators, such as the firefly squid, possess light organs on their arms capable of producing rapid, complex flashes. These displays may mimic the movement of prey or serve to disorient and corral smaller animals. In some cases, the predator's entire body becomes a trap, using light to create the illusion of safety or to camouflage its true shape, luring prey directly into its grasp in a world where food is scarce. Conversely, bioluminescence can serve as a powerful defense. Some animals use light to startle or confuse predators, buying precious seconds to escape. Certain squid and shrimp species release clouds of bioluminescent fluid when threatened, much like their shallow water relatives release ink. This glowing cloud can distract and temporarily blind attackers. The sudden burst of light acts as a brilliant diversion, allowing the prey to vanish into the surrounding blackness while the predator is left momentarily disoriented. Some deep-sea animals can emit intense, short-lived flashes akin to underwater flashbangs, temporarily stunning or confusing would-be attackers. In the Twilight Zone, mastery over light is a matter of life and death. Bioluminescence serves as a flashlight, a signal flare, a weapon, a shield, and a language, an extraordinary adaptation that has shaped the evolution of life in the ocean's greatest depths. In the upper reaches of the ocean's Twilight Zone, where sunlight barely penetrates, a subtle but relentless battle for survival unfolds. Here, the faint, down-welling light creates a unique visual environment, one where the greatest danger often comes from below. Predators in the deeper, darker waters scan the world above, searching for the telltale silhouettes of prey outlined against the dim, filtered glow of the surface. Even the smallest shadow can betray an animal's presence. In this environment, a dark shape, no matter how minute, stands out starkly, making concealment a matter of life and death. To evade detection, many midwater species have evolved one of the most advanced camouflage techniques in the natural world, counter-illumination. This adaptation is a direct response to the unique lighting conditions of the Mesopelagic zone. Counter-illumination is the process of generating light from the underside of the body to match the intensity and color of the downwelling sunlight, effectively erasing the animal's shadow and making it nearly invisible from below. This remarkable strategy requires an exquisite balance. The animal must precisely tune its bioluminescence to the ever-changing light conditions above, which can shift with the time of day, weather, and even the movement of clouds on the surface. The key to this adaptation lies in specialized light-producing organs called photophores. These are typically arranged in intricate patterns along the ventral surface of the animal, and their structure and distribution are finely tuned to the animal's habitat and lifestyle. Photophores are complex organs, often containing reflectors, lenses, and filters that help shape and direct the emitted light. Some species can even alter the wavelength of their glow to better match the spectral quality of the ambient light. Many animals possess the ability to modulate the brightness of their photophores in real time, using neural and hormonal controls. This allows them to respond instantly to changes in the light environment, such as passing clouds or the approach of a predator. If the surface light intensifies, the animal's glow brightens. If the light fades, the bioluminescence dims accordingly. This dynamic adjustment is crucial for maintaining effective camouflage. When viewed from below, a well-camouflaged animal using counter-illumination appears to vanish, its outline dissolving into the background light. This makes it extremely difficult for visual predators to detect or target their prey. This is the ocean's ultimate stealth technology, honed over millions of years of evolutionary arms races between predator and prey. Among the most skilled practitioners of counter-illumination is the bobtail squid, a small cephalopod renowned for its sophisticated light management. Unlike many bioluminescent animals, the bobtail squid does not produce its own light chemically. Instead, it relies on a symbiotic relationship with the luminous bacterium Ali vibrio fischeri, which colonizes a specialized light organ on the squid's underside. The squid provides a nutrient-rich environment for the bacteria, which in turn emit a soft blue-green glow. This living light source is carefully regulated by the squid to match the intensity and angle of moonlight and starlight filtering down from above. During daylight hours, the bobtail squid buries itself in the sand to avoid detection, while simultaneously tending to its bacterial colony, ensuring the population remains healthy and balanced. As night falls, the squid emerges to hunt, using the bacteria's glow to counter-illuminate its body and blend seamlessly with the moonlit water above, making it nearly invisible to both predators and prey. The squid can fine-tune the brightness of its light organ by adjusting the angle and coverage of specialized skin flaps, acting much like a biological dimmer switch. This allows for precise control, ensuring the emitted light always matches the ambient conditions. This symbiotic system is so finely tuned that the squid can even alter the distribution of light across its body, masking its eyes and other features that might otherwise betray its presence. At dawn, as the squid returns to the safety of the sand, it expels up to 95% of its bacterial partners into the surrounding water. This daily purge prevents the bacteria from overgrowing and ensures the light organ remains at optimal brightness for the following night. The released bacteria disperse into the ocean, while the remaining population within the squid rapidly multiplies throughout the day, restoring the colony to full strength by nightfall. This cycle of expulsion and regrowth is a delicate balance, ensuring the squid's camouflage remains effective and the symbiotic relationship is sustained. Through counter-illumination, countless ocean dwellers, from tiny crustaceans to large fish, have mastered the art of invisibility, vanishing into the twilight with a glow that is both a shield and a weapon in the perpetual struggle for survival in the deep. As dusk settles over the vast expanse of the world's oceans, a remarkable transformation begins beneath the waves. This is the onset of vertical migration, the largest synchronized movement of animal life on Earth, both in scale and in ecological impact. Each evening, as sunlight fades, billions upon billions of marine creatures, ranging from microscopic zooplankton to agile fish and elusive squid, initiate a coordinated ascent from the shadowy depths of the Twilight Zone or Mesopelagic layer toward the ocean's surface. This migration is driven by a fundamental biological imperative: the search for food. In the perpetual darkness of the deep, resources are scarce, but the surface offers a fleeting abundance. The uppermost layers of the ocean are rich with phytoplankton, microscopic plant-like organisms that form the foundation of the marine food web. These blooms, fueled by sunlight, create a seasonal and daily feast for migrating animals. Cloaked in darkness, deep-sea dwellers ascend hundreds of meters, their bodies often aglow with bioluminescence. This adaptation not only aids in camouflage and communication, but also helps them avoid detection by predators that rely on vision in the sunlit zone. The journey upward is fraught with risk. Each animal must balance the need to feed with the ever-present threat of predation, making this nightly migration a delicate trade-off between survival and sustenance. Near the surface, the abundance of food is matched by the abundance of danger. Predatory fish, cephalopods, and other hunters patrol these waters, capitalizing on the influx of prey. As the first hints of dawn illuminate the water, the migration reverses. Sensing the return of daylight, the vast assemblage of animals begins a rapid descent, retreating to the relative safety of the deep. Having fed throughout the night, these creatures return to the cold, high-pressure world of the Mesopelagic, where sunlight cannot penetrate and predators are fewer. This descent is a vital survival strategy, allowing them to evade the swift and efficient predators of the sunlit zone, such as tuna, dolphins, and seabirds that rely on vision to hunt. The scale of this vertical commute is staggering. Some animals travel up to 1,000 meters each way, forming a living conveyor belt that links the ocean's surface and its mysterious depths, driving the transfer of energy and nutrients between these realms. Among the most significant participants in this migration are lanternfish. These small bioluminescent fish are perfectly adapted to the Mesopelagic, with light-producing organs that help them blend into the faint glow from above. Lanternfish are believed to be the most numerous vertebrates on the planet, comprising an estimated 65% of all deep-sea fish biomass. Their sheer abundance is a testament to the productivity and importance of the Twilight Zone. The numbers involved in this migration are almost beyond comprehension. Trillions of individuals moving in unison, forming dense layers that can stretch for hundreds of kilometers. At night, the collective ascent of lanternfish and other migrants creates a phenomenon known as the deep scattering layer. This dense aggregation of animals reflects sonar, producing a false bottom that once puzzled naval operators and oceanographers alike. These migrating animals are a crucial link in the oceanic food chain. By feeding on plankton near the surface and then descending, they transfer energy and nutrients to deeper waters, supporting a diverse array of predators at multiple depths. The impact of this migration extends far beyond the food web. It is a planetary-scale process that helps regulate the Earth's climate and the cycling of essential elements. As these organisms feed on phytoplankton at the surface, they ingest large amounts of carbon, which is incorporated into their bodies, and metabolic waste. When they descend back into the depths, they transport this carbon away from the atmosphere, effectively sequestering it in the deep ocean. Through respiration and excretion at depth, these animals release carbon in forms that can remain trapped in the ocean for centuries or even millennia, reducing the amount of carbon dioxide that would otherwise return to the atmosphere. This process, known as the biological carbon pump, is estimated to move 6 to 8 gigatons of carbon from the surface to the deep sea every year. The daily vertical migration of marine life in the Twilight Zone is thus not only a spectacle of nature, but a vital engine in the regulation of Earth's climate and the health of the global ocean. In the cold, dark, and seemingly barren expanse of the deep sea, a remarkable biological trend emerges. Organisms here often reach sizes that dwarf their shallow water relatives. This phenomenon, known as deep-sea gigantism, is one of the ocean's most intriguing mysteries, captivating marine biologists and evolutionary scientists alike. Deep-sea gigantism refers to the tendency for certain species inhabiting the ocean's depths to grow to much larger sizes than their counterparts in sunlit coastal waters. This pattern is observed across a wide range of taxa, from crustaceans and cephalopods to polychaetae worms and amphipods. Take the giant isopod, for example. While its terrestrial relative, the common woodlouse, rarely exceeds a few centimeters, the giant isopod can reach lengths of over 50 centimeters, an adaptation that has evolved independently in several deep-sea lineages. The giant squid, another iconic inhabitant of the abyss, can grow to more than 13 meters in length, making it one of the largest invertebrates on Earth. These immense creatures are rarely seen alive, but their size is legendary, inspiring tales of sea monsters for centuries. Even among less famous creatures, the trend persists. Deep-sea amphipods and polychaete worms can reach sizes several times greater than their shallow water relatives, a pattern that has been documented in deep trenches and abyssal plains worldwide. Scientists have proposed several theories to explain this remarkable adaptation. One leading explanation involves the interplay between temperature, metabolism, and oxygen availability. In the deep sea, water temperatures can plunge to near freezing, and the metabolic rates of animals slow dramatically in these frigid conditions. Colder water is capable of holding more dissolved oxygen, which is essential for sustaining larger body sizes. This abundance of oxygen, combined with a reduced metabolic demand, allows deep-sea animals to grow larger without the risk of oxygen deprivation. The slow pace of life in the deep sea further contributes to gigantism, With lower metabolic rates, these animals require less energy to survive, enabling them to allocate more resources to growth and maintenance over long lifespans. This combination of high oxygen availability and low metabolic demand creates an environment where large body sizes are not only possible, but advantageous for survival. Another factor is the principle known as Bergmann's rule, which states that animals in colder environments tend to be larger. Larger bodies have a lower surface area to volume ratio, which helps conserve heat, a critical advantage in the deep sea's perpetual cold. In these icy depths, a larger frame helps retain precious body heat, reducing the energy cost of thermoregulation and allowing for greater endurance in a challenging habitat. Energy efficiency is also a key factor. According to Kleiber's law, as animals increase in size, their metabolic rate per unit of body mass decreases. This means that larger animals are more efficient in their use of energy, a crucial adaptation in an environment where food is scarce and unpredictable. While a giant isopod or amphipod requires more food in total, its slower metabolism allows it to survive on less frequent meals, making the most of every rare feeding opportunity. For instance, a giant isopod can go for months or even years without eating, relying on stored energy reserves and a slow, deliberate lifestyle. In the vast, sparsely populated Twilight Zone, where food can be separated by great distances, this efficiency is a major evolutionary advantage. Larger bodies can store more energy in the form of lipids, enabling deep-sea giants to travel long distances in search of food and to survive extended periods of scarcity, subsisting on marine snow or the occasional sunken carcass. The deep sea itself acts as a vast, isolated environment, much like an island. Populations are often separated by great distances, and opportunities for reproduction and feeding are rare. With relatively few predators and little competition, there is less evolutionary pressure to remain small and agile. Instead, the ability to grow large and endure long periods between meals becomes a successful survival strategy. This lack of predation, combined with the patchy distribution of food, favors a life history strategy centered on slow growth, delayed reproduction, and exceptional longevity. When a large food source, such as a whale carcass, descends to the ocean floor, these giants are well equipped to take advantage, feeding for months on a single meal and storing energy for the next opportunity. The Greenland shark exemplifies this strategy. Growing to over 6 meters in length and living for centuries, it is among the longest-lived vertebrates on the planet, perfectly adapted to the slow, patient rhythms of the deep. In the vast, lightless expanse of the Mesopelagic or Twilight Zone, survival hinges on innovation. Here at depths between 200 and 1,000 meters, sunlight fades to near nothing, and the pressure is immense. Food is scarce, and the competition is relentless. To thrive in this challenging environment, the hunters of the Mesopelagic have evolved a remarkable array of specialized adaptations and hunting strategies, each more ingenious than the last. With prey widely scattered and energy at a premium, many mesopelagic predators rely on stealth and patience rather than speed or brute force. Passive hunting, where animals remain motionless for long periods, is a common tactic, allowing them to conserve precious energy while waiting for unsuspecting prey to come within striking distance. Bioluminescence is perhaps the most iconic adaptation in these depths. Many hunters wield light as both lure and camouflage, producing their own glow through specialized organs called photophores. This light can be used to attract prey, communicate, or even confuse predators. The deep-sea anglerfish is a master of deception. Its bioluminescent esker, a fleshy growth extending from its head, pulses with an eerie light, mimicking the movements of small prey. This irresistible beacon draws in curious fish and crustaceans from the darkness. The anglerfish remains perfectly still, blending seamlessly with the inky blackness. When a potential meal approaches, it strikes with lightning speed, its enormous jaws snapping shut, in a fraction of a second. This ambush technique is so effective that the anglerfish rarely needs to move, minimizing energy expenditure in an environment where every calorie counts. Ambush predation is widespread in the Mesopelagic. Many species, from fish to invertebrates, use camouflage and stillness to avoid detection, waiting patiently for prey to wander within reach. The viperfish is a prime example. It suspends itself in the water column, motionless for hours, its slender body and silvery scales reflecting minimal light. Its photophores can be used to break up its outline, making it nearly invisible to both prey and predators. Armed with needle-sharp fangs and a jaw that can unhinge to swallow large prey, the viperfish waits for the perfect moment. When a fish or crustacean comes close, it lunges with explosive force, impaling its victim on its teeth. Some hunters combine ambush with active luring. Species like the flashlight fish and certain dragonfishes use rows of photophores along their bodies to create patterns of light, attracting prey or signaling to potential mates. The dragonfish is especially remarkable. It possesses a rare adaptation, the ability to produce and perceive red bioluminescent light. In the deep sea, most animals are blind to red wavelengths, making the dragonfish's glow invisible to all but itself. This gives the dragonfish a unique advantage. It can silently illuminate and stalk its prey, seeing them clearly while remaining undetected. A true sniper of the deep. Once a meal is caught, it is consumed with ruthless efficiency. In the Mesopelagic, food is so rare that no opportunity can be wasted. This has led to the evolution of extreme overfeeding. The black swallower and gulper eel are prime examples, capable of ingesting prey many times their own size. These predators possess anatomical marvels, expandable jaws, elastic stomachs, and bodies that can stretch to accommodate enormous meals. Such adaptations allow them to survive long periods without food, digesting their catch slowly over weeks or even months. The black swallower, for instance, can consume prey up to 10 times its own mass and twice its length, its stomach expanding like a balloon to accommodate the meal. Its jaw unhinges, and its gut stretches to an astonishing degree, allowing it to digest its catch slowly, extracting every possible nutrient. This feast or famine lifestyle is the rule in the Mesopelagic. Predators must be opportunistic, maximizing every rare feeding event to survive the long stretches of scarcity. The gulper eel, or pelican eel, is another marvel of adaptation. Its enormous, pouch-like mouth can balloon outward, acting as a living net to scoop up prey. Despite its slender body, the gulper eel's mouth can engulf animals much larger than itself, allowing it to capitalize on any available food source, from small fish to swarms of shrimp. Unlike precision hunters, the gulper eel is a generalist, drifting with its mouth open to collect whatever it encounters, a strategy perfectly suited to the unpredictable bounty of the deep. These extraordinary adaptations, bioluminescent lures, ambush tactics, expandable jaws, and elastic stomachs, are all responses to the same fundamental challenge: survival in a world where food is rare and unpredictable. In the Mesopelagic, only the most ingenious hunters endure, each perfectly tuned to the demands of the ocean's twilight depths. The Twilight Zone, a realm of perpetual dusk, is home to some of the most bizarre and extraordinary life forms on Earth. Here, in the cold, crushing darkness, evolution has produced a living gallery of survivors, each with astonishing adaptations that defy imagination and challenge the limits of biology. Take the barrel-eye fish, for example, a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Its transparent dome-shaped head is filled with a clear, gelatinous fluid, allowing us to peer directly at its tubular, emerald-green eyes. These eyes are not only highly sensitive to the faintest glimmers of light filtering down from above, but they can also rotate within the head, scanning for prey and predators alike. This unique adaptation enables the barrel eye to track the movements of bioluminescent organisms drifting overhead, while remaining nearly motionless itself. The upward orientation of its eyes allows it to detect the silhouettes of potential prey, such as small crustaceans and jellyfish, against the faint twilight above. When a target is spotted, the eyes pivot forward, giving the fish precise depth perception for a rapid strike. The transparent shield that encases its head not only protects these delicate organs from the stinging tentacles of siphonophores, one of its primary food sources, but also reduces drag as the fish glides silently through the water. This remarkable combination of anatomical features makes the barrel-eye fish a true specialist in the art of deep-sea hunting. Equally enigmatic is the glass octopus, a master of invisibility. Its body is almost entirely transparent, with only its eyes, optic nerves, and digestive tract faintly visible. This near-complete transparency is a sophisticated form of camouflage, allowing the octopus to avoid detection by both predators and prey in the dim, filtered light of the Mesopelagic zone. The glass octopus's gelatinous tissues are composed of a high percentage of water, closely matching the refractive index of the surrounding seawater. This adaptation renders it nearly invisible from below, where predators scan for shadows against the faint glow of the surface. Only the most essential organs remain opaque, and even these are minimized in size and pigmentation to reduce their visibility. Its eyes, elongated and cylindrical, are oriented to cast the smallest possible shadow, a subtle but critical adaptation for survival in a world where even the faintest outline can mean the difference between life and death. The result is a creature that moves through the water like a living ghost, its presence betrayed only by the faintest shimmer, a true marvel of evolutionary design. In the deepest reaches of the ocean, where pressures exceed 1,000 times those at the surface and temperatures hover near freezing, other survivors have evolved equally astonishing traits. The Mariana snailfish, for instance, holds the record for the deepest living fish, thriving at depths beyond 8,000 meters in the Mariana Trench. Its body is soft and gelatinous, lacking the rigid bones and swim bladder found in most fish, which would collapse under such immense pressure. Instead, its tissues are reinforced by unique proteins and high concentrations of trimethylamine N-oxide, a molecule that stabilizes cellular structures and prevents them from being crushed by the weight of the water above. In the oxygen minimum zones, where few animals can survive, the vampire squid reigns supreme. Its metabolism is the lowest of any cephalopod, allowing it to thrive in waters with almost no oxygen. The vampire squid's blood is rich in hemocyanin, a copper-based molecule that binds oxygen with remarkable efficiency, ensuring survival even in the most depleted environments. Its webbed arms and bioluminescent displays serve as both defense and deception, confusing would-be predators in the darkness. Among the largest and most complex denizens of the deep is the giant siphonophore, a colonial organism that can stretch over 50 meters in length, longer than a blue whale. What appears to be a single animal is actually a colony of thousands of genetically identical zooids, each specialized for a particular function: feeding, movement, defense, or reproduction. These zooids are so interdependent that none can survive alone, yet together they form a coordinated superorganism, drifting through the water column in search of prey. The siphonophore's long, trailing tentacles are lined with stinging cells, capable of paralyzing small fish and crustaceans that wander too close. Its feeding zooids then engulf the prey, passing nutrients along the colony's length. Drifting silently through the abyss, the giant siphonophore is a living testament to the power of cooperation and specialization in the struggle for survival. In the Twilight Zone, life takes on forms both alien and beautiful, each a masterpiece of adaptation to one of the most challenging environments on our planet. The deep ocean, especially the enigmatic Twilight Zone, is a critical engine in the planet's nutrient cycles, intricately connecting the surface and the abyss in a continuous exchange of matter and energy. Though it lies far from human sight, this realm is a dynamic system that underpins the health and stability of the entire biosphere. At the heart of this system is marine snow, a steady, slow descent of organic particles, including dead plankton, fecal pellets, and microscopic debris that drifts from the sunlit surface to the deep. Far from being inert, these particles are teeming with microbial life. As they fall, bacteria and other microorganisms break down the organic matter, releasing vital nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and iron back into the water column. This decomposition process is essential for recycling nutrients, fueling the growth of phytoplankton in the upper ocean, and sustaining the entire marine food web. Filter feeders and scavengers in the deep rely on this constant rain of organic matter, extracting energy and nutrients in an environment otherwise starved of sunlight and primary production. Occasionally, the deep receives a dramatic influx of nutrients in the form of a whale fall, a massive carcass descending to the seafloor, providing a rare and concentrated resource. The arrival of a whale fall initiates a complex ecological succession, beginning with large scavengers that strip the flesh and continuing with smaller organisms and bacteria that break down the bones. This process can support a diverse community for decades, with each stage recycling nutrients and supporting new forms of life. Over time, the whale fall becomes a hotspot of biodiversity, illustrating the deep ocean's capacity for resilience and regeneration through nutrient cycling. The initial scavengers, such as sleeper sharks and giant isopods, rapidly consume the soft tissues, while later arrivals specialize in extracting nutrients from the remaining bones and lipids. Specialized bacteria then take over, breaking down complex molecules and releasing nutrients that sustain unique chemosynthetic communities, independent of sunlight. These oases of life demonstrate the deep ocean's remarkable ability to transform death into new beginnings, perpetuating the cycle of life in the most extreme environments. Beyond whale falls, the Twilight Zone itself is a vast reservoir of biodiversity, with countless species adapted to exploit every available niche and nutrient source. Many of these organisms have evolved bioluminescence, not only for communication and camouflage, but also as a means to attract prey and facilitate nutrient transfer within the ecosystem. The efficiency of bioluminescent systems is inspiring innovations in sustainable lighting and energy transfer, with potential applications far beyond the ocean. Deep-sea creatures like the Mariana snailfish possess unique proteins and cellular structures that allow them to survive crushing pressures, offering blueprints for advanced materials and biotechnology. The adaptations found in these extreme environments are a testament to the power of evolution and the potential for novel solutions to human challenges. One of the most significant processes in the Twilight Zone is the daily vertical migration of billions of organisms, which acts as a biological pump, transporting carbon and nutrients from the surface to the depths. This migration is the largest animal movement on Earth, playing a crucial role in sequestering carbon and regulating the planet's climate. The immense biomass of lanternfish and other mesopelagic species represents a vast, largely untapped resource, but harvesting these populations could disrupt nutrient cycles and have unforeseen ecological consequences. Deep ocean currents, driven by temperature and salinity gradients, further distribute nutrients across ocean basins, supporting productivity in distant regions and maintaining the balance of marine ecosystems. As we look to the future, the stability of these nutrient cycles faces unprecedented threats from climate change, ocean acidification, and potential deep-sea mining. Protecting the deep ocean is not only about conserving its mysterious inhabitants, but about safeguarding the fundamental processes that sustain life on Earth. The fate of the Twilight Zone is inseparable from the fate of our planet. Hidden between sunlight and darkness, the Twilight Zone, also known as the Mesopelagic, spans depths from 200 to 1,000 meters. Here, the ocean is shaped not only by life, but by the complex interplay of chemical and physical forces. Temperature in the Mesopelagic drops rapidly. This thermocline layer plunges from warm surface waters to near freezing cold, often below 4 degrees Celsius. The chilling temperatures slow metabolic rates, forcing creatures to conserve energy and adapt in extraordinary ways. Light fades swiftly with depth. By 500 meters, only a faint blue glow remains, insufficient for photosynthesis. This perpetual dusk defines the zone's boundaries and fuels evolutionary arms races for camouflage and communication. Pressure intensifies with every meter descended. At the bottom of the Twilight Zone, it reaches up to 100 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. Cells, proteins, and even enzymes of deep-sea inhabitants have evolved to withstand these crushing forces, revealing novel biochemical adaptations unknown on land. Oxygen levels decline steeply. In many regions, the Mesopelagic contains an oxygen minimum zone, a band where oxygen is scarce. Life here is forced to adapt, with some species developing highly efficient gills or even anaerobic metabolisms. These low oxygen pockets play a crucial role in global nitrogen cycling, as specialized bacteria convert nitrogen compounds, influencing atmospheric chemistry and marine productivity. Chemically, the Mesopelagic is a dynamic mediator. Nutrients such as nitrate, phosphate, and silicate accumulate as organic matter decomposes, fueling deep microbial communities. These nutrients are slowly mixed upward by ocean currents, sustaining surface productivity far from their point of origin. Salinity, though relatively stable, can subtly influence density and water movement. Gradients in temperature and salinity drive slow but powerful currents, mixing the water column and redistributing heat, gases, and dissolved elements across vast distances. Trace elements, including iron and manganese, are released from sinking particles and hydrothermal vents. These micronutrients are vital for marine life, supporting everything from plankton growth to the unique chemistries of bioluminescent organisms. In the Twilight Zone, every molecule is part of a larger story, one of transformation, resilience, and connection. The chemistry and physics of this realm set the stage for life's adaptation and the planet's delicate balance. Understanding these hidden processes is key to unraveling the mysteries of the deep and to protecting the ocean's vital role in Earth's future. In the crushing depths of the Twilight Zone, pressure is relentless and unforgiving. At 1,000 meters below the surface, water bears down with a force of over 100 atmospheres, enough to collapse unprotected structures in an instant. Yet here, life not only persists, but thrives, thanks to astonishing biological innovations. First, the bodies of deep-sea creatures are built without air-filled spaces. Unlike surface fish, which rely on gas bladders for buoyancy, many mesopelagic species have evolved tissue densities that match the surrounding seawater. This neutral buoyancy allows them to hover effortlessly in the water column, expending minimal energy and avoiding the risk of implosion. Cell membranes are another marvel of adaptation. Under immense pressure, ordinary cell membranes would become rigid and non-functional, but deep-sea dwellers produce special molecules called piezolites, such as trimethylamine N-oxide, or TMAO. These compounds stabilize proteins and membranes, maintaining cellular function even as the pressure mounts. The higher the pressure, the greater the concentration of TMAO, giving some fish their characteristic sea smell. Proteins and enzymes, the workhorses of every cell, must also withstand the squeeze. Deep-sea species possess unique versions of these molecules, with subtle structural tweaks that prevent them from deforming or losing their activity. This means that vital processes like metabolism, movement, and bioluminescence continue seamlessly, even in the abyss. Some creatures, like the famed amphipods and giant isopods, reinforce their exoskeletons with minerals such as calcium carbonate or amorphous silica, preventing collapse while maintaining flexibility. Others, like the enigmatic snailfish, rely on gelatinous tissues and minimal calcification, allowing their bodies to compress without damage. Even DNA, the blueprint of life, receives extra protection. Specialized proteins shield genetic material from pressure-induced damage, ensuring that cells can divide and repair themselves reliably. In this world of extremes, every adaptation is a testament to life's resilience. The mastery of pressure has opened an entire realm for exploration, where evolution's creativity is revealed in every cell and structure. These silent survivors remind us that in the ocean's darkest depths, nature's ingenuity knows no bounds. Beneath the Twilight Zone's veil of darkness, a hidden world teems with life too small to see. Here, microorganisms, bacteria, archaea, and microscopic plankton are the unsung architects of the deep-sea ecosystem. Though invisible to the naked eye, their influence is vast, shaping everything from nutrient cycles to the survival of larger creatures. In these frigid, high-pressure depths, microbes break down organic matter that drifts down from the sunlit surface. Dead plankton, fish, and other detritus. This process, known as remineralization, releases vital nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus back into the water, fueling the food web from the bottom up. Without these microscopic recyclers, the Twilight Zone would become a graveyard, starved of the resources needed to sustain life. Some bacteria thrive by consuming chemical compounds that seep from the ocean floor. These chemosynthetic microbes convert substances like ammonia, methane, and hydrogen sulfide into usable energy, a process independent of sunlight. Their ability to harness chemical energy supports entire communities of life, from tiny zooplankton to larger predators. Microbes also play a crucial role in the ocean's carbon cycle. As they consume sinking organic particles, they lock away carbon deep within the ocean, preventing it from returning to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. This natural sequestration helps regulate Earth's climate and highlights the Twilight Zone's global importance. Even the phenomenon of bioluminescence has microbial roots. Certain bacteria emit their own light, forming symbiotic relationships with deep-sea animals. In return for shelter and nutrients, these luminous microbes help their hosts attract prey, communicate, or camouflage themselves in the darkness. Despite their size, microorganisms are remarkably resilient. Some have evolved enzymes and cell structures that withstand crushing pressure and near-freezing temperatures. Others can enter dormant states, waiting for more favorable conditions before springing back to life. Their adaptability ensures that the engine of decomposition and renewal never stops, even in the ocean's harshest realms. In the grand tapestry of the Twilight Zone, microorganisms are the invisible threads that hold the ecosystem together. Their tireless work sustains life, recycles nutrients, and shapes the chemistry of the deep. By understanding these microbial powerhouses, we unlock the secrets of one of Earth's most mysterious and vital environments. As the ocean's warm and global climate patterns shift, even the remote Twilight Zone is not immune to change. Here, far below the reach of sunlight, rising temperatures and shifting currents are beginning to reshape the delicate balance of this mysterious ecosystem. Warming surface waters alter the way nutrients and oxygen are mixed into the depths. In some regions, this results in expanding oxygen minimum zones, vast areas where life-giving oxygen dwindles to dangerous lows. Creatures adapted to stable conditions must now contend with shrinking habitats and heightened competition for resources. The migration patterns of Twilight Zone dwellers are also changing. As surface waters heat up, the timing and extent of the world's greatest migration, the nightly ascent and descent of billions of animals, are thrown off balance. This disrupts not only the predators and prey of the Mesopelagic, but also the essential flow of carbon from the surface to the deep. As fewer particles reach the abyss, the ocean's natural ability to lock away carbon is weakened, feeding back into Earth's warming climate. Acidifying oceans pose another threat. Increased carbon dioxide dissolves into seawater, lowering its pH and subtly altering the chemistry of the deep. For many mesopelagic organisms, these changes can affect buoyancy, metabolism, and even the way light bends through their bodies. For some, survival will depend on rapid adaptation. For others, extinction may loom. Meanwhile, human activities ripple downward. Overfishing in surface waters can reduce the supply of organic matter, drifting into the Twilight Zone. Emerging industries seek to harvest mesopelagic fish for animal feed, threatening to upset the intricate food webs that have evolved over millennia. Despite its remoteness, the Twilight Zone is connected to the fate of our entire planet. Its ability to regulate climate, support biodiversity, and recycle nutrients depends on a balance that is increasingly at risk. The future of this shadowy realm will be shaped by choices made far above the waves. By understanding the Twilight Zone's vulnerability to climate change, we reveal not only the fragility of this hidden world, but also its profound importance to life on Earth. Exploring the Twilight Zone, where sunlight fades and pressure intensifies, demands ingenuity and cutting-edge technology. Unlike the shallow seas, direct observation here is a formidable challenge. The inky darkness, crushing forces, and vast unexplored expanses require specialized tools and techniques. Remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, are at the forefront of deep-sea discovery. Tethered to ships above, these robotic explorers descend thousands of meters, equipped with high-definition cameras, manipulator arms, and an array of sensors. ROVs glide through the Mesopelagic, capturing rare footage of elusive creatures and collecting delicate specimens for study, all without a single human leaving the surface. Autonomous underwater vehicles, or AUVs, venture even further. Untethered and pre-programmed, these sleek torpedo-shaped machines map the contours of the deep using sonar, monitor environmental conditions, and detect subtle changes in water chemistry. Their onboard computers process data in real time, revealing hidden layers of life and uncovering new habitats with every mission. To study life forms adapted to the Twilight Zone's extremes, scientists deploy specialized sampling devices. Pressure-retaining traps capture fragile organisms, preserving them at the immense pressures of their native environment. Meanwhile, advanced nets, such as the closing midwater trawl, allow researchers to collect animals from precise depths, minimizing disturbance and contamination. Acoustic technology is another essential tool. Arrays of underwater microphones, known as hydrophones, eavesdrop on the Twilight Zone's soundscape. They detect the faint clicks, hums, and movements of animals navigating the darkness, while ship-mounted sonar systems reveal the swirling masses of migrating life, invisible to the naked eye. Chemical sensors and water samplers analyze the ocean's invisible properties. By measuring oxygen, nutrients, and dissolved gases, researchers piece together the intricate cycles that sustain life far below the waves. DNA sequencing performed on samples collected from the deep uncovers the hidden diversity of microbial communities and traces genetic connections across the globe. Each technological advance pushes the boundaries of what we know about the Twilight Zone. Together, these methods illuminate a world once thought unreachable, a realm of profound mystery, now yielding its secrets to the persistent curiosity of science. Beneath the rolling surface and shimmering sunlit waters, the Twilight Zone is bound together by a complex and often invisible web of life. Here, food chains are shaped by scarcity, adaptation, and the relentless movement of energy from above. At the top of this hidden web are the voracious predators, squid, lanternfish, bristlemouths, each perfectly evolved to hunt in darkness. But the true foundation of the Twilight Zone's food web lies in a continuous rain of organic debris. Known as marine snow, this slow drift of dead plankton, fish scales, fecal pellets, and microscopic fragments falls from the sunlit ocean above, delivering precious nutrients to the depths. Suspended in the gloom, tiny zooplankton rise each night toward the surface to feed, then descend before dawn to avoid predators. This daily vertical migration, the largest animal movement on the planet, fuels the entire zone, redistributing energy and nutrients through each layer of the water column. Midwater fish and gelatinous creatures like jellyfish and siphonophores consume the zooplankton and in turn become prey for larger hunters. Some species, like the hatchet fish, use bioluminescent camouflage to evade detection, while others, such as the dragonfish, deploy glowing lures to attract unsuspecting victims. Decomposition is another vital link. Microbes and scavengers break down sinking organic matter, recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. This process not only sustains life in the Twilight Zone, but also influences the chemistry of the entire ocean, locking away carbon and shaping global climate. Occasionally, a large carcass like that of a whale plummets to the abyss, creating a temporary oasis teeming with life. Such events trigger feeding frenzies, supporting a burst of activity that echoes through the food web for months or even years. Despite its remoteness, the Twilight Zone is tightly connected to the surface and the deep abyss below. Every feeding, every migration, every decomposition event links these realms together, driving the cycles that sustain our planet. The Twilight Zone's food web is a masterpiece of adaptation, efficiency, and resilience, a hidden engine that powers the ocean and ultimately life on Earth itself. Long before sunlight ever touched the surface of our planet, life began its quiet march into the depths. The Twilight Zone's inhabitants are not merely products of adaptation, they are living relics, shaped by millions of years of evolutionary history. The story begins in Earth's primordial oceans, more than 500 million years ago. Early life forms, simple and soft-bodied, drifted in shallow waters. But, as competition intensified and predators emerged, some organisms ventured ever deeper, seeking refuge in the perpetual dusk. Over generations, evolution favored those who could withstand the crushing pressures and frigid temperatures of the Mesopelagic realm. Fossil evidence reveals that ancient lineages like the coelacanth and the enigmatic hagfish once thrived in these shadowy waters. Many modern Twilight Zone species retain primitive features such as bioluminescent organs, gelatinous bodies, or enormous light-sensitive eyes. These adaptations are not recent innovations but echoes of ancient evolutionary experiments, traits honed by the relentless demands of survival in a world without sunlight. Some creatures like the vampire squid are living fossils, virtually unchanged for tens of millions of years. Others, such as deep-sea anglerfish, display remarkable evolutionary novelties, males that fuse to females in permanent symbiosis, jaws that unhinge to swallow prey larger than themselves, and lures that mimic the flicker of falling marine snow. The isolation of the deep sea has fostered extraordinary diversity. As continents shifted and oceans changed, populations became isolated, evolving along unique paths. This evolutionary isolation has created a patchwork of species found nowhere else on Earth, each one a testament to the power of adaptation and the passage of time. The Twilight Zone is a living archive, its residents bearing the genetic signatures of ancient seas and lost worlds. Every glowing siphonophore, every transparent squid tells a story written over eons, a story of struggle, innovation, and the unending quest for survival in the dark. In the Twilight Zone, the past is never far away. It lingers in every adaptation, every lineage, and every silent drift of life through the ocean's eternal dusk.